Hello everybody, that is here. I would like to start catching up with a number of interesting products that come into my possession, but I never had come around to review them. Unfortunately, I didn't did it when they was released, but nevertheless, I think they're interesting enough to talk about them, and for that reason, I'm still going to review some of those. So first in line, Alphacool, known for many things, but they're mostly known for Radiator. So it's definitely worth it to look at any new Radiator from Alphacool and see what's new and exciting stuff they offer. The model we're talking about, it's called, again, this weird German Eisbecher, I believe. And the equivalent of that radiator already exists in Alphacool lineup. It's XT45 to be precise, so it is, I believe it basically means that the same type of core radiator inside of those boxes. And the difference between the XT45 standard version and XT45 Pro version is basically shroud. We saw shrouded radiators were pioneered basically by XSPC a while back, and then EK come up with even better version, better executed version, and basically every single radiator offered now by EK is shrouded. Like it or not, no other choice. My personal opinion about shrouded radiators that it's nice because it adds to the overall look of radiator, because how radiator is produced, it's industrial thing, so it has to have some bended metal and everything. The shroud allows you to have much sharper edges, and some people like it. What I dislike about shrouded radiators is the fact that it's extra material, extra works that needs to be done on the product. It gives you zero performance increase, but it adds to the cost. So if you type of the guy who value performance over the looks, that radiator models make absolutely zero sense, because they give you nothing. It's just fancy thing. So in this sense, shrouded thing maybe not for everyone, but a lot of people like shrouded models, and that's the reason I believe that Alphacool decided to release this particular model for the masses. I have all three models here, 120, 240 and 360, but I'm going to unbox 240 just because it's a little bit small and easy to keep in my hands. So let's look what we have here. Here we go. You might already saw the pictures and everything, how it looks. I already look up certain information about it, so it will be easy for me to talk, not just like, oh wow, okay, let's see what it is. So I actually know what it is, also I just open it as you see it. But basically it's the same story as anything else. We have a good old copper radiator. Judging by its weight, I already can tell you, when it's brass or copper rods from Alphacool weight probably 1.5 more than similar sized radiator from everybody else, like EK or Dark Side, like whatever, you name it. And this is definitely the copper based good old radiator from Alphacool, but outside we have aluminum shroud. Well, for those who might know something about metal incompatibility stuff, don't be afraid, it's just a glove, nothing touching water, so the fact that it's made out of aluminum, it doesn't matter. It can't be made out of plastic or whatever. It just for the looks, right? And it's not coming in touch with any part of the liquid, so material is really irrelevant. But aluminum or aluminium is a cheap material, easy to fabricate. It also doesn't add additional weight to the product because radiator is heavy as it is, and basically you don't want to pay even more when you ship radiator to your customers or from the factory. So what do we have here? The panels a little bit different from what we saw from EK and XSPC, and the reason for that, as I see, is the fact that they decide to put a logo on the side with little LED behind it. So by default you get a blue one, and on the side of radiator you have a cable with 3-pin connectors that you basically plug to a motherboard most likely, although it's possible to plug it to fan control if you want to, and the whole thing will be light up. I also know that if you really dislike blue and it's important for you to have green or red or whatever, you can buy a replacement insert, remove couple screws on the sides and replace it with different color plastic insert for the Alphacool logo. So if you don't like blue, not big deal, it's exchangeable. Now, there's something that is different between this radiator and everything else I saw so far. Most of the people, like again, like a K, they give you a shroud, which make look a radiator appears as a kind of more squarish than it is. But Alphacool decided to go like kind of next step, and they put cover on both sides of radiator. On top of that, they even put some sort of plastic mesh between radiator core and this cover as well. Official explanation why you need it, that this mesh breaking airflow to make it go all kind of directions, and that's spread air better through the fins, so more fins get more air. My personal take on it is that maybe yes or maybe no, and I'll explain you why. That basically anybody who was in water cooling long enough knows that all you want to give radiator as much breathing capability as possible. That's the reason that early days when we had a really crappy cases, we used to cut out all this mesh on the cases to open it up, and some people had like really crazy differences, like 5 degrees difference only because of cutting off all unnecessary mesh. Here I feel that we go somewhat backwards, but I don't have any testing data, so maybe there is some miracle. But from my perspective, I see that we have a lot of restriction added to this radiator. One restriction mesh on both sides, and one restriction is another plastic mesh inside of the thing. So I would say that for sure what we need to keep in mind, if anybody decides to use this radiator, you should be more picky about the fans you're using. It has to be high pressure fans, otherwise you probably don't move much air through the radiator and your performance wouldn't be that great. The fact of spreading air through more fins, I don't even know how many degrees it spells out, but maybe somebody will test it eventually. I can tell you, I'm personally not that much into shrouded radiator. So another thing that needs to be talked to is about port configuration. We know that Alphacool is always give you tons of ports. Like you have Alphacool radiator and it's like ports from the bottom, ports on the top, ports on the side, blah blah blah. So it has too many ports, I would say, and for that reason I actually have a lot of customers buying stop plugs because they go for Alphacool radiators, which is a really great product, but then they go a certain style and they don't like included plugs, so they buy black, white or whatever other plugs that like at mass just to put them all over Alphacool radiator. So here we have only 2 ports, but in fact the good old XT45 radiator inside, in fact you can reposition them. So you can see this as a masked kind of other ports on the product, and if you pull this thing off, and there should be stop plug there. Well, it actually has some glue, so it's not that easy to remove it, but after we did, you can see this is just a stop plug here, which you can remove. Then you remove this extender thing and you switch them. So if you want ports not here but there, for whatever reason you have, because of your build situation, you can easily switch it. So you don't have all ports readily made to be deployed, but with a very minimum effort, you can migrate ports to other type of configuration. So it's very easy to do. All right. So other than that not much to say. It's already existing products which was beautified in a way, like kind of modded by Alphacool itself. And if you're after Shrouded model and you love Alphacool, this is just a new offering for extra few dollars. Don't even know how much, but you can look it up on your own. You have something that has a different visual appearance, has a light on it, not RGB, which is strange, but it's not. But it gives you certain looks that you might like and you want to buy. And I don't see 140 version yet, and we don't see crossflow version yet. So for now, only 120 in 3 sizes: single, dual, and triple. That's all, guys. See you soon.